So, my name is Yasuhisa Toyota from Acoustics. I'd say, first of all, nothing would be possible, and after such a the great performance, and you might expect something from me, some audible and some performance and something I can show you, I can present to you, but my job is in acoustical design, and so I could talk many things about the acoustical things, but at this time, I'm going to focus a bit some different ways, and which is, I have some subtitle that we see when we feel. What means, how we can see, and the concert hall, and the concert, and how we can feel. So this is my subject. So all the time, and we have to start the discussion of an acoustics or acoustical design in concert halls, and from this hall. And this is the Vienna, and the Musikvereinssaal, and this was built, opened in, I think, that was in the 1870s already. So much more than 100 years ago. And this is quite famous in the concert hall with the excellent acoustics. And also, another example is Boston Symphony Hall. And this was also built in 1900 or something like that. And so the almost same age with the Vienna. And looking at these two halls, it is clear that it's just simple box. And then with the narrow and the width and the relatively high ceiling. And so this is giving us the wonderful acoustics and where we can expect the very, very effective reflection, early reflection. Early reflection means that, and which is arriving to us and the audience soon after the direct sound. So this is very, very important. And so the narrow width is giving us the very, very effective reflection from the side wall. So this is the function. And so in both of the halls, the width is so narrow, and the ceiling is relatively high. But this was built the more than 100 years ago, and so if we applied the modern regulation, like what is necessary and to assign to design the aisles and what is the size, and also the speaking about the seat for audience, it's very poor, and so very thin and very stiff, and so if we replace with the modern the luxury audience seats, then we'll have dramatically the small number of the audience. So here in Vienna, and we have 1,700 people audience. But if we applied the modern regulation, the modern rule, then the number becomes probably less than 1,200, maybe 1,100 or something like that. So we have dramatically we have to reduce the seat capacity, seating number. So this is why we need to think something. And so it's a good idea to enlarge the width. Then we lose in the acoustics, excellent acoustics. Then is a better way for us to extend the length. Then the distance from the audience to the stage would be too far, too long. And another idea is to have some balcony, additional balcony like this. So we have 2 balconies in Boston instead of 1 in Vienna. But if we increase the depth of this balcony, then we have to have many, many audience on the side of the balcony, and then where the acoustics disaster, And so it's not easy. So the history of developing the acoustical design is on how to find out the solution or option and to enlarge the space. So the revolutionary design happened in Berlin. And this is a Philharmonie in Berlin, and which opened in 1960s already. So more than 50 years ago. So I'm going to show the plan and section here. And then the width is much wider, much bigger, rather than Vienna, rather than Boston. But we have many small walls, and you can see like this. Maybe I can use at some point this way. Okay. So you can see many small walls around the audience. These walls are providing the effective acoustics or reflection to the audience. For instance, this audience could get enough effective reflection from these walls. And so grouping the audience area and then having the layout slightly in vertical way, and so that we can create these acoustically effective walls among the audience area. So this is the theory of acoustical design. This is called as a Vineyard style, and because these groupings looks like a vineyard, and so this is why they call this style as a Vineyard style. So this is a very revolutionary design from Berlin. So we opened this hall in 2009, and so almost 60 years after Berlin, and based on Berlin design. And this is the new hall in Copenhagen as Danish radio, the concert hall, and which was designed by architectural design was done by Jean Nouvel from France, Paris. And we applied the same theory in this way. So you can see, this is a plan. And so you can see the many walls among the audience area, so that we can expect the very effective reflection to those in the audience area. But important thing is not only with these and the small walls, but in in Berlin, the architect and Mr. Sharon and Hans Sharon, he put the stage in the center, and instead of the edge in the auditorium, and so that the audience can surround the stage. So this is also the very revolutionary things, and so that we can minimize the distance between the audience and also the stage. So this is very important to create the intimate feeling, the acoustically and also the visually. So we did the same thing, and based on Berlin, and so we did have on the stage almost close to the center, so that we can have an audience not only behind of the stage, but also on both sides of the stage in this way. And then I'm showing with the audience. So you can see, comparing with these two pictures, empty without audience, and also with audience. It's just such a big difference. Do you think so? Like this, the very silent, silent and quiet, almost nothing. But with audience, we can feel enthusiastic. It's a big difference, okay? And so important thing is we can see, of course, in the relation between the stage and the audience is equally important. But then the more important thing is we can see other audience faces, not the back of other audience. This is very important and also very different and from the conventional layout in the auditorium, comparing with Vienna. So what we can see other audience is just in the behind of them only, with no faces. But in this layout, we can see other audience directly. And then this is wonderful. And because, that this feeling and impression is giving us that if the stage, the music on the stage is extraordinarily exciting, it's beautiful, then we can have some feeling that as an audience, and we can share the same moment and the same great experience, which is happening on the stage. So this is very, very important thing. For instance, that you might be able to find out your colleague, your friend, the other side, somewhere, then it might be a good idea to talk something during intermission and with some break, or even after the concert. Okay, let's go for some dinner and to talk about the great concert and that we experienced together. So this is not happening, and so we can expect this kind of concert hall can give us the great opportunity, the great place, and where we meet each other. But still, I know that there are the bunch of discussion about the acoustics or sound, which is better, the behind the orchestra or the in front of the orchestra. Okay, if I had two options, the one ticket here, the second ticket here, of course, and I'm very happy to take this. So the people are discussing in this way, which is better, in the front or back. But wait a minute. If we didn't have the audience in the back of the orchestra, back of the stage, these audience are not coming here. Okay? If we did have the orchestra or stage here in the end of auditorium, then these audience are not coming here, but coming here instead, right? And so the discussion is, which do you like? Which is more interesting, here or here? Then the discussion is somehow different, right? And I'm sure that there are many people who are interested in here instead of here. Of course, there are still some people who are still thinking that no, frontal side is even better. Even with some the big distance, okay, we can provide. They can take these seats, no other problem. But there are some certain big number of audience who are interested in the behind the orchestra. Then the question is that acoustic balance, and behind the orchestra, behind the stage, is exactly the same in terms of the quality, and with the frontal side people, I would say no, it's very different. But the question was, is it still interesting? I would say yes, it's very interesting. So the balance is very different, but still very interesting, because sometimes we use this area for chorus people, behind the orchestra. If the acoustics or the balance, acoustical balance, sound balance, and behind the orchestra was not good, then it means that the acoustics which the chorus people are hearing is not good. This is not the case, but still very different from the frontal side. So we need to think on the another approach to think about the acoustics behind of the stage. Okay? So speaking about the orchestra, with many different instruments, the layout is like this. And also the one most important thing is the conductor. Okay? Conductor is looking toward the orchestra. It means that the people here can look in the face of conductor, what he's doing more directly. And so in this way, the orchestra has much less direction. Okay? For instance, the violin guys here are sitting toward this way. But this guy is sitting toward this guy, this way. And so we have many, many different directions and from each instrument in the way. So this is the, the layout of the orchestra. So I'm thinking about an orchestra. It's not as simple, single direction and toward only the frontal side of the people, but also to other sides, including the direction of by conductor. This guy is facing to the audience and behind the stage. So in this way, we can enjoy somehow more different ways. This is another example. The chamber hall, which opened in 2012 in Boston. As a chamber hall, it belongs to the museum, the Isabel Gardner Museum. The architect was Renzo Piano. It was very interesting, and because when we were invited to the project, the Renzo Piano had already developed some, the preliminary design, and where they had the stage on the one side, and the seating capacity is only 300, and so it's not a problem to have a single, the floor, single audience floor, and so in this way, exactly in this way. And so he asked me that, what do you think about that? And so I was very careful, and so I didn't talk very loudly, and so I said something still. It's boring. And so having the stage here, and having the audience here, and expecting the audience and the stage is facing each other in this way. It's just boring and in a very, very conventional way. And so he asked me that, and what is interesting? And so even with the 300 people, 300 audience, why we don't have the layout and with more vertical way to have a balcony? So in this way, we can make the space the more, more interesting, and more three-dimensional way, more vertical way. Then he sketched very quickly. So this is it. So we did have the stage on the main floor. Okay. So all the seats in the main floor are flexible. So we can change the size of the stage in a very, very flexible way. And we did have 3 balconies in such a small chamber hall, only with 300. So only 1 row for each. So we have 15 seats in a row, in 1 row, 3 balconies. So in this way, when there are only 2 rows on the main floor. I have a question. This is showing a very, very typical auditorium. If you had 2 options, the 2 tickets, here or here, which do you prefer? So almost of people are taking the 2nd floor, the balcony, in the 1st row, because there will be no other audience in front of you. Happening here in Boston is, this is also, these seats, and all of them on the balcony are in the 1st row. So there will be no audience in front of them. And in only 1 row in front of the audience is on the main floor. Just the 1st row in this way. So I'd say in this hall, the more than 80% of audience are facing directly to the stage with no audience in front of them. So finally, I'm going to show some other example which also take this kind of layout. in brand new concert halls. This is showing the Hamburg and the Elbphilharmonie, which was designed by Herzog de Meuron and from Switzerland. So in this way, so we have, this is a big auditorium and with more than 2,100 people. So again, surrounding way. So this is super, picture I took by myself. thanking to the wonderful function of an iPhone with a panorama. And this is showing another brand new by Frank Gehry in Berlin. Also, he was very interested in to take the seating layout in oval shape in this way. This picture is also by myself. And it's fantastic in the feeling. Thank you so much.